Welcome to our deep dive into Rita's journey, which is this fascinating corporate playbook on surviving multinational work life. Our mission today is basically uncovering how you can maintain high ambition without, hitting the burnout wall.
Right, because it happens to the best of us.
Exactly. And we're looking at Rita's schedule, and she is coordinating this massive 150-town green initiative. I mean, she's taking 6 a.m. calls with Europe and then 10 p.m. calls with Asia.
Yeah, that is the classic trap, trying to run a career marathon at a 100-meter sprinter's pace.
Right, and you really see the stress manifesting in these terrible, impulsive decisions, like her exhausted grocery run where she just panic buys a heavy steak and a quart of ice cream just to cope.
Well, we all know operating on 4 hours of sleep is rough, but the biological data here is what really matters.
Wait, so what exactly happens to the brain there?
So when you are severely sleep deprived, you suffer a 30% decline in complex cognitive memory. You aren't just tired, right? Your brain is actually physically dropping data.
Wow. So since raw endurance inevitably fails, Rita's strategy shifts to what she calls everyday micro-recoveries.
Yes, micro-recoveries are essential.
But I have to admit, reading this, I was a little skeptical. Like, suggesting a simple lunch break cures severe corporate burnout feels, I don't know, a bit trivial.
It sounds trivial, sure. But if we look at the brain's cognitive capacity like a smartphone's RAM, stepping away from the keyboard for just 30 minutes is basically like closing out all your background apps.
So the operating system stops freezing up.
That is the exact mechanism at play. It is an active reset of cognitive fatigue. And Rita doesn't just step away, she curates the recovery.
Right, like when a colleague suggests grabbing a heavy double cheeseburger, she consciously chooses tofu and rice instead.
Exactly. She is actively fueling her biology to prevent that infamous 3 p.m. metabolic crash.
So if micro-recoveries like a proper lunch are how you refuel, the next challenge is preventing that energy from being immediately drained again. Which brings us to her time budget.
The time budget is such a great concept.
Yeah, she treats her schedule the way a CFO treats capital.
Mhm.
When she gets a vague or unreasonable demand, she deploys this soft no, which is just a polite, let me check my calendar.
And that completely protects her boundaries without, torching the business relationship.
Exactly.
But protecting time on a calendar is really only half the battle. True equilibrium requires physical and mental separation, too.
Right, because she specifically leases an apartment with a rigid architectural divide between her workspace and her rest space.
Because if you sleep 3 feet from your laptop, your brain never stops anticipating the next email.
That is so true. And the transition between those spaces is what really caught my attention. She uses a Taekwondo class to bridge the gap.
Yes, the Taekwondo is a perfect example of this.
I'm guessing throwing Korean kicking moves isn't just about fitness, right? Like, how does that actually translate to boardroom skills?
Well, first, the physical exertion is a definitive biological signal telling your nervous system that the workday is absolutely over.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, and more importantly, it provides mental cross-training. When you focus entirely on a totally unrelated creative hobby, your prefrontal cortex is forced to completely disengage.
The part of your brain that's just looping over boardroom stress all day.
Exactly. While you are kicking pads, your brain relies on subconscious processing, building new neural pathways, and that actually accelerates your problem solving and flexibility when you get back to your desk.
So she is working smarter, not longer, and her output skyrockets as a result. The overarching thesis of this playbook is that sustainable balance is the ultimate corporate superpower.
I love that phrasing. The paradigm shifts entirely from enduring damage to actively cultivating sustainability.
It really reframes the whole concept of rest. So for everyone listening, I want to challenge you to audit your own schedule this week. Try to find a spot to insert just one micro-recovery.
Just one small change can make a huge difference.
Definitely. And as you try that, consider this. If your career is just what you do and not who you are, what identity are you actively cultivating the exact moment you close your laptop?
That is a tough question to answer.
It really is. Furthermore, if sleep and recovery are biologically necessary for you to solve complex problems, is working through the weekend actually a form of professional negligence? Think about it.